I'm Mel,
And I'm Andrea.
and we've been asking ourselves, WTF? Where's the fun?
So, welcome to our podcast for heart-led business leaders, entrepreneurs, and CEOs ready for more. More impact, more wealth, more joy, and more magic, all while having even more fun than ever before.
As co-founders of FunX, we believe that life and business is way more fulfilling when you're following the fun.
So, we're flipping the script on success, giving you permission to create from a whole new paradigm where you can have a lasting impact while nurturing your well-being and having a freaking blast along the way.
So join us each week for engaging solo episodes
and real conversations with experts who are embodying this new paradigm of leadership, spiritual wealth, business growth, and of course, fun.
If you're ready to reignite your spark, make bold moves, and lead from a whole new energy, let's jump in and have some fun. Welcome back to WTF. Where's the fun? I'm Mel.
And I'm Andrea.
And today, obviously, we're here. We're in the WTF studio. We're going to talk about fun and why it's so important. And let's first talk about your message when you're on stage. I mean, it's both our messages, really, but when Annie's on stage, she's the star. It's her message. And it's WTF, where's the fun? And we've spent probably 3 years for this method we have created, but we've spent over a year really reframing and improving and recreating your keynote. And it's been a journey. And it's really fun for me because there's so much work and heart that has gone into this message. And it has finally started little by little taking traction. And now it's really starting to take off. So I want to talk about why you think, I want to talk more about you. Why do you think your message is so important right now, for sure?
Yeah. And I feel like I get to deliver the message.
Yeah.
I don't know that it's necessarily my message. I feel like it's our message. I feel like the message is coming through me more than I feel like I'm just honored, honestly, to be able to get to do this. Why I think it's important now more than ever is we're ready for some fun. We're ready for joy. And I really do think this is the new what I love about this is it's starting to pop up in so many different messages and people. Like even Gabby Bernstein recently has been posting more about like fun is the most spiritual thing you can do. And it's like, exactly. And that's actually how we kind of got into fun to begin with. And I think fun has always been part of my journey, but I would say about maybe 4 years ago, around 4 years ago, we had got to this point where I had done so much inner work. I had trained and studied very intensely for probably
10 years.
Yeah, around human behavior, spiritual science, subconscious programming, like pretty much anything to do with our unfolding our potential and connecting with our heart and doing it in a holistic way. And I got to the point where I'm like, that is great.
Yeah.
But I was craving fun. I was craving joy. And I feel like I didn't want to have to fix myself. I didn't want to have to focus on all the things that maybe weren't working the way I wanted them to. And that's when it kind of clicked for me that fun was the embodiment of all the work. It's like, why did we do all of this? Why are we creating all of this? Why are we unfolding our potential? Or why are we healing ourselves or whatever the word might be if we're not enjoying?
Yeah.
And that was, I think, the aha for me to be like, that's the next level of growth. The next level of growth is to allow it to be fun, is to truly enjoy your life as it is, and to find the perspective for it. So it started off as kind of my own journey, but as we continued to really, I think, embody that for ourselves, other people started noticing and be like, "Can you help me?" And what I have found is that when somebody is actually embodying fun and joy, not only is it really inspiring them to change their own life and how they show up in their experience, it also inspires other people.
Yeah.
So it's one of the, I think, one of the most efficient, effective ways for us to increase our collective consciousness and raising our vibration and attracting the lives that not only do we want to live, but we can have then an impact to help other people.
Yeah. And okay, so I think it goes back to like for me, like I'm so behind you in this message because I remember being in school, like hating it and being like, I fucking hate school. I'd rather be playing hockey. I'd rather be playing outside. I'd rather do chores on my dad's farm. That was more fun to me because school to me was very regimented, very put you in a box, one size fits all. You have to do it this way. You have to get these grades. Otherwise, you're not smart and you're going to end up being a loser. Like that was like the
Yeah.
message that was drilled. So for me, and then what it does to young people in school is it makes the joy being taken out of them, and they're so worried and focused on getting a top grade because then they can get in the top schools and then they can get the top jobs. But there's no enjoyment in that. And for me, it's like it's so important to have enjoyment along the way. You can get top grades. You can like school, but enjoy it. Enjoy the process. And so like I love it because you've really been doing a lot of speaking lately with big companies, which is fantastic. And it's so fun for me to see these people in these rooms who are a lot of time they have to go to these events because their companies are paying them to go to these events. And a lot of them are checked out. And that's why you're brought in is to have more engagement and more fun at these events. And the amount of people I watch come up to you, because we always stick around at the events. We don't pop in, pop out. We immerse ourselves. And the amount of people that come up to you afterwards, like, for example, this has happened at two separate events. Two different ladies have come up to you and been like, I am now the caregiver for my parent.
Mm.
And I realized I need to implement more fun in my day because being a caregiver is a lot of work and it's heavy sometimes. And they were like, I really needed that shift. Or then you'll have someone else come to you. This wonderful lady that we met who's from Tremblant. And shout out to you. And she is the most fun person, but she's like, sometimes I feel like I can't express all the fun I have in my life. And she recently messaged you and is like, I've implemented this new thing in team meetings where they have to like wear these funny like glasses with like those
Like the mustache?
the noses and the
Yeah.
mustache. And like she is gonna become such a more powerful leader in her organization because she's bringing fun in and it creates more engagement. Whereas if you are in a state of stress, you can't actually access your state of genius. And that is where innovation comes in. And that's where when you're creative, it becomes fun. It becomes a co-creation. The team gels better. Like companies actually make more money. You make more money. Like so like I don't know. This stuff gets me really excited.
Oh, I love it. I'm with you. And I think for like what you're saying, it becomes bigger than you.
Yeah.
It becomes a co-creation. It becomes an energy. It becomes something that's like, I want to be part of that. And for me, and this is why I say like the message of fun is like it's bigger than us because it really is not about us. It's about, yeah, we love fun and we want to be the living embodiment of it and to be able to communicate that in a way so that it lands. But what I loved about what you just shared is like what brings me the most joy about this is that, and this is kind of why I got into this in the first place, is when leaders, and you don't have to be leading a team,
Maybe leading your family.
you could even just be leading yourself, leading your neighborhood. But maybe you are leading a company, maybe you are leading an organization. When leaders shift into prioritizing what matters to them, bringing joy into their day, their experience, and then they start to spearhead that, they start to change the culture and the approach
Yes.
in which everybody feels uh, like that you can show up. So then there's more permission. You get to show up more as who you are. You get to have more kind of, I don't know about freedom, but maybe freedom and permission is probably the word, to try things differently, to show up in a different approach. And that is where innovation comes. But it's also where I think the biggest impact comes.
Yeah.
Like when and this means so much to me in the sense that I did a lot of, well, I had a police detective background. So I'm very good, and I'm also in tuned at reading not what people are saying, but how people are actually feeling, what's really going on underneath. And when I was doing my one-on-one coachings, I usually attracted leaders who, on the outside, everyone would look at them and be like, they are amazing. They have their shit totally together. They are the embodiment of success. And I just knew what was underneath that was a lot of sadness, was a lot of striving, a lot of unconscious beliefs, a lot of success driven by trauma, to have to hold it all together and be the one. And a lot of that was joyless.
Yeah.
And disconnection from what actually was fueling their hearts.
Yes.
And what brings me the most joy is when those people started to connect more with what makes me happy.
Yeah.
Where can I prioritize the things that matter most for me?
Mm-hmm.
And then as a byproduct, they start showing up differently, prioritizing things differently, and then they start leading differently.
And then they have a massive impact.
And then they start bringing this message, this embodiment to the people that they are now interacting with. That to me is the best thing ever. Like that is why I do what I do, is because when we can start this ripple effect, it's like, imagine you go into a room and people are serious and there's dread, like you can feel that energy behind it.
Yeah.
But then when you go in a situation and people are like, let's see how fun this can get. What if we try this? And then people start jumping on board, and then it just becomes this co-creation, this entire new frequency in which we're creating from,
Mm-hmm.
which is fun.
Yeah. Okay. So say somebody is like, I like what I do,
Okay.
but I'm not sure. Maybe they're just part of the team. They're not the leader of the team, right? So how does somebody who is like, I'm a fun person, but I really don't know how to like bring my essence out at work. Like how would you baby step them to do that?
Yeah. I'm going to say fun takes courage.
Yeah.
And I even say this in my talk. Sometimes fun isn't always fun. And no one says that. It's like we expect fun to be this fun thing, but it's not always fun because it can be like you have to be vulnerable sometimes. You have to bring out your essence. I remember in policing, for me, that was really a big struggle that I had for many years, was feeling like I was fun.
Yeah.
But at work, I felt like if I brought out my fun side, I wouldn't be taken serious, or it actually wasn't safe.
Or you wouldn't move up the ladder.
Yes. So what I had to do, and also a lot of it is I didn't want to be judged. I didn't want to be like, there's a lot of fear.
Judged for your type of fun.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
so what did you do?
Yeah. So what I started to do is I had to come to terms with having courage to actually be okay being myself. So I started with little things. One of the things was actually what was fun for me was doing a really good job at work. And for a long time, I actually pulled back how well I was doing because I didn't want other people to get upset.
Yeah.
And part of that was because my boss at the time would do performance reviews in front of everyone, and then he just ripped on everybody. And then for me, he was like, "You're doing great." And it's because I liked to do
It's not a
my best.
a friend at work.
It was honestly horrible because then they started to be like, not like me.
Yeah.
And I had never actually experienced.
So it's then makes you shut down a bit.
Exactly.
So what was the step that you took in your office setting that you were like, I need to like show more of myself? And but not for like to make friends in the office, but for you, because that was you really wanted to be more of you. So what was something that you did?
One of the things I did is I brought my salt lamp to work. Which is funny because I was surrounded by the drugs and like a street crime.
It can be that simple though.
Mm-hmm.
Put a salt lamp on your desk. If I saw someone with a salt lamp, I'd be like, yo, what's up, Salty? You know?
And another thing that I did, there's many things that I did, but one thing that I did is I actually, let's go back to the performance side. I stopped holding myself back from performing, and I gave myself permission to perform, and I did very well. And then what I realized is that like this is when I was on the road. This particular platoon actually was very toxic environment for me, but because I had performed well, I had asked for a transfer for something that was actually more aligned.
Yeah.
And then I got the transfer because I was doing a great job.
Yeah.
So I didn't hold myself back to fit in. I allowed myself to show up. And then from there, what happened is, again, I just did my best based on what was aligned with me. And then what happened was, I got opportunities that the other people didn't get. I actually created a whole new job for myself, working like 7 to 3, and it was because I had done a good job.
Yeah.
But I brought my personality out even when it felt uncomfortable.
And then when you do that, when you brought out like the essence of who you are, not trying to fit a mold, you became magnetic. And I think that's really what joy does. Joy and fun is you become magnetic. You become a person that people want to follow and or partner with. And
Yeah.
I'll tell you, like, any leader that is rooted in fun and joy, they're magnetic. Everybody wants to do a good job for them. Everybody feels more comfortable around them.
1,000%.
As opposed to a fucking person who is just like, hit these deadlines, do this, do that. Like, that's not fun. People are going to hate working for you and there's going to be so much turnover. But if you can lead from a place of joy, it skyrockets everything.
And I think some people think that, because even in sports, I had someone come up to me after one of my talks and was like, okay, I'm a coach. How do I navigate? He's like, I'm a fun coach. He goes, but I also want to make sure that I'm kind of like not so lenient that we're not getting results and performance, and that I'm losing kind of control of practices. And it's like, that's the art of fun. It's like, well, what's not fun? What's not fun is losing. What's not fun is not performing well, but you can still engage your people, your players, in a way that you can be lighthearted. Like Sarah Blakely's a great example of this, the founder of Spanx. She would bring improv and like oops celebrations into her meetings, where she doesn't believe that you have to be so serious. Like you can be both
still
assertive and fun
and have high standards.
Exactly.
Yeah, I agree. So let's land this plane.
Well, I do want to share one more thing, because you're like, what's another thing that you started to do to bring more fun?
Oh, yeah.
One of the things that I started to do is I started to give myself permission to not have to be performing at 99.9% every single moment of the day. So I started to go out for lunch.
Oh, yeah.
Which was so
out of your
uncomfortable for me, because I was very also driven about my finances as well. So it was like, I felt like I actually gave myself time to use my lunch break, which was a whole new thing, and take myself out for lunch.
Yeah.
And I would just have this like delicious lunch date with myself, and I would have so much fun doing it. And then I started to add on other things. I was like, oh, I'm actually going to work out again at work. So I started to use my lunch break for that. So I just started to put things back in my life where it's just not all about work too.
Yeah.
And then that fueled my heart,
Yeah.
which made me, I think, a better leader and have more fun. So what I would say is that success, it's not just about the achievement piece, it's also about the enjoyment,
Yeah.
the prioritizing what matters, the shifting the whole perspective around how you live, lead, and perform. And the more that you can connect with that feeling, that is where the magic happens. And a simple way where you could start, if you're like, this sounds great, but I don't know how to even start. I have a free, this is brand new, which is very exciting. It's a free fun audit, which is kind of funny because an audit doesn't sound fun, but it's fun. And it's simple. You could do it in like, I don't know, 5-10 minutes. And it
You
helps
can
you.
probably do it quarterly too.
Yes, it's actually something that I wanted to be. You could infuse it regularly to help you to continue to embody this. So if you want to bring more enjoyment into your life, into your work, I'll connect the link into the show notes. And it's something that we do. So I don't offer anything that we don't personally bring ourselves through. So this is something that I think would be a really good step in bringing that fun into your life.
Thanks for listening to WTF. Where's the fun?
We're Andrea and Mel, and we're so excited to be on this journey with you to see how fun it can get.
If today's episode brought a little bit more fun into your world, be sure to subscribe, share with a friend, and leave us a review.
And remember, life and business is so much better when you're following the fun. So let's have some fun.